The spaceship Aurora hummed softly as it descended through Eden 7's thick, colorful atmosphere. Commander Nico stood at the viewing window, watching clouds swirl around massive, green mountains. The planet looked alive. Rivers glittered in shades of blue and gold, and enormous trees reached high into the sky, their leaves shimmering in sunlight. Nico had studied planets like this before, but Eden 7 was different. There was a strange feeling in the air, something that made the hairs on his arms stand up. "Almost there, Commander," said Tarek, the ship's pilot. His voice sounded calm, but even he could not hide a hint of excitement. "Sensors show safe landing conditions near the northern forest." Nico nodded. "Good. Let's make this count. Remember, this is a first contact mission with Eden 7's ecosystem. Observe everything carefully, and no sudden movements." The landing was smooth. The ship touched the soft, glowing soil near a wide river that sparkled like liquid crystal. Outside, the air smelled fresh, with hints of flowers and something sweet Nico could not name. It was unlike any Earth scent. As the ramp lowered, Nico stepped out with the rest of the team: Lena, the biologist, Ravi, the engineer, and Sana, the communications officer. Each of them carried small packs, scanning devices, and notebooks. They looked around in wonder. The plants moved gently, though no wind blew. Some flowers seemed to turn their faces toward the team, and tiny lights danced among the leaves, as if the garden itself were alive. "Look at that," Lena whispered. Her eyes were wide. "I've never seen anything like this. The energy, it feels strong, almost like it's watching us." Nico felt it too. It was subtle but undeniable. Every step he took seemed noticed. The ground beneath his boots was soft, and he realized it almost seemed to guide him toward the river. "Stay alert," he said. "We don't know what can happen here." They set up camp on a flat clearing near the riverbank. Ravi deployed small sensor devices that floated slightly above the ground, collecting data on the soil, air, and plant activity. Lena knelt near a glowing plant with long, silver vines. She carefully touched one, and it recoiled gently before reaching out again, as if curious. "This planet," she murmured, "it's like it's alive. But not just alive in the way a tree is on Earth. It reacts, it thinks, she trailed off, unable to find the word. Nico observed silently. He could feel a faint pull, a strange energy urging him to walk deeper into the forest. It was subtle, but he recognized the feeling. Temptation. Not of greed, not of fear, but of curiosity. Something in Eden 7 wanted him to explore. "Commander," Sana called, her voice calm but firm. "We are receiving readings that are unusual. The plant's growth patterns, the air particles, even the river flow, they are responding to our presence. It's almost like the planet is alive." Nico frowned, a mix of excitement and caution rising inside him. "We came here to study, not to interfere. Let's keep our distance for now. We will observe, take notes, and report back. No one goes wandering alone." Night came quickly on Eden 7, faster than on Earth. The sky changed from gold to deep indigo, dotted with unfamiliar stars. The team sat near a small fire-like device that provided warmth and soft light. But the forest around them glowed. Two tiny lights drifted in the air, and the trees seemed to hum softly, a sound felt more than heard. Nico couldn't sleep. He walked to the edge of the camp and looked at the forest. The glowing lights swirled like dancers, inviting him. He remembered the feeling, the gentle pull urging him forward. He shook his head. "Not yet," he whispered. First, we understand. Then, we explore. He returned to the camp, where Lena was carefully sketching the glowing plants. Ravi adjusted sensors, and Sana monitored readings. The planet seemed quiet, but the energy around them suggested otherwise. Eden 7 was waiting, and Nico could feel it. For the first time in his life, Nico realized that exploration wasn't just about discovering new plants or technology. Sometimes, it was about resisting the pull, the temptation to rush forward, to take more than you understood. And Eden 7 had a way of testing that. As he finally sat near the fire, Nico made a silent promise, I will learn your secrets, Eden 7. But I will do it carefully, with respect. I will not let temptation lead me astray. Above the camp, the stars of Eden 7 twinkled. The river shimmered. And somewhere deep in the forest, the glowing trees seemed to lean closer, curious, aware, and alive. Nico closed his eyes, knowing tomorrow the real adventure would begin. The morning light on Eden 7 was unlike anything Nico had ever seen. The sun was soft and golden, but it did not burn. Instead, it made the leaves of the trees shimmer, creating a forest full of tiny sparks, as if a million stars had fallen to the ground. Birds or something like birds sang in delicate, musical tones, and the river glimmered, reflecting colors that did not exist on Earth. Nico, Lena, Ravi, and Sana prepared for their first proper exploration. Each carried their scanning devices and notebooks, eager to document the alien life. But there was a quiet tension in the air, a feeling that the garden itself was watching, and perhaps even waiting. Keep your eyes open, Nico reminded the team. We are guests here. We observe. We do not interfere. They walked along a narrow path lined with glowing ferns and tall, twisting trees. The plants seemed to lean toward them, gently swaying as if curious. Occasionally, a vine would reach out, only to retreat quickly, almost shyly. The forest felt alive in a way that was both beautiful and slightly unnerving. Suddenly, a soft voice spoke, though no one had called out. Welcome, travelers. The team froze. Nico's hand instinctively went to his communicator. Who's there? He asked. From behind a cluster of luminous trees stepped a figure. She was humanoid, slender, and her skin shimmered faintly like the forest itself. Her hair flowed like silver threads, and her eyes were deep green, reflecting the sunlight. I am Myra, she said with a gentle smile. I live in this garden. I have watched your arrival. Do not be afraid. Nico exchanged glances with the team. You live here? Are you native to Eden 7? Myra nodded. I am part of the garden. It nurtures me, and I protect it. Few humans come here. The forest tests them, and only those who respect it can remain. Lena stepped forward. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like this. The plants, the light, it's almost alive. Myra's eyes twinkled. It is alive, in ways your science can barely understand. The trees whisper, the river listens, and the ground remembers. Every intention, every thought, every desire is sensed here. Nico felt a chill. Desires? Myra nodded slowly. Yes. This garden has a way of showing what is inside a being's heart. It is beautiful for those who are kind, but dangerous for those who are greedy. As they spoke, the plants around them moved subtly. Leaves bent toward Myra, flowers tilted, and tiny lights floated in the air. Nico felt a strange pull, a sense of curiosity deeper than any he had known. The forest seemed to call him, urging him forward. Sana noticed it too. "Commander, the readings. The plants near us, they are reacting to us. Not just physically, but emotionally." Myra smiled. "Yes. The garden senses your hearts. It will test you, if you let it." The team continued walking with Myra guiding them. She led them to a small clearing where the river widened into a pool. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the glowing trees above. Myra knelt beside it and touched the surface. Instantly, the water shimmered and images appeared, visions of distant mountains, strange skies, and alien creatures. "This is the garden showing you possibilities," Myra explained. "It shows what could be, not what will be. Do not be tempted to chase visions without thought. That is the trap." Nico stared at the images. He could see landscapes that seemed to belong to dreams, technologies that seemed impossible, and creatures that were almost magical. A part of him wanted to dive in, to explore all the secrets immediately. But another part, the part he trusted, reminded him to be patient. Myra's voice broke his thoughts. "The forest tests every visitor. Some leave quickly, scared. Some are tempted by what they see. Few learn the balance of curiosity and respect." Lena whispered, almost to herself, "It's beautiful, and alive. I feel like it knows me." Nico nodded. "Yes. But we have to remember why we are here. Observation, study, not taking more than we understand." The team spent hours documenting the plants, taking samples where safe, and recording Myra's guidance. By late afternoon, they returned to their camp. The forest behind them seemed calmer, almost approving, as if acknowledging their respect. That night, Nico lay under the glowing sky, thinking about Myra's words. The visions in the pool haunted him, wonderful, tempting, and strange. He realized that the garden would not just test their skills. It would test their hearts, their patience, and their self-control. He closed his eyes, hearing the soft whispers of the trees in his mind. It was not a sound, but a feeling, a pull toward the unknown, toward discovery. And deep inside, he knew that tomorrow, the real challenge would begin. Eden 7 was alive, and it was calling them forward. The next morning, Nico woke before the sun fully rose. The soft golden light of Eden 7's sky bathed the camp, and the forest seemed calm, almost patient. Today, they planned to explore further than before, toward a distant plateau that Myra had mentioned. "This plateau," Myra explained as they prepared to leave, "is a place of great energy. It tests those who climb it. Many have started the journey but never reached the top. You must walk carefully, with respect and thought, not haste." Nico nodded. "Understood. We will stay together and follow your guidance." The team began their trek. The forest changed as they moved forward. Trees grew taller and closer together, their glowing leaves forming a delicate ceiling above. The ground beneath them was soft, covered with moss that seemed to hum gently underfoot. Tiny creatures darted among the foliage, leaving trails of light. Every step they took felt measured, as if the forest itself was aware of their presence. After hours of walking, they reached a river crossing. The water was shallow but sparkled with golden light, reflecting the towering cliffs ahead. Myra stepped lightly onto the stones, and the water seemed to part slightly, making a safe path. Nico followed, impressed by the subtle influence she seemed to have over the garden. As they ascended, the forest became stranger. Vines reached toward them but never touched. Flowers opened only when someone looked directly at them. Nico felt a subtle pull in his chest, an urging to climb faster, to reach the plateau before anyone else. He shook his head, remembering Myra's warning. Curiosity was natural, but impatience could be dangerous. Finally, they reached the base of the Golden Plateau. It was higher than any mountain Nico had ever seen. At its top was a massive tree with golden leaves that shimmered like sunlight. The trunk was wide and smooth, its surface glowing faintly. From below, it seemed to pulse, as if alive with energy. "This is the heart of the plateau," Myra said softly. "Touch it only if your mind is clear." The tree responds to desire. Those who seek power or gain will find only confusion and frustration. Those who seek understanding will be shown the way. Nico took a deep breath. He felt the pull stronger than ever. The tree seemed to call to him, promising knowledge and insight beyond imagination. He glanced at his team. Lena was carefully recording every detail, Ravi was checking sensors, and Sana was observing the tree's glow. None seemed tempted in the same way he was, but he knew he had to resist. Step by step, they climbed. The plateau challenged them. Rocks shifted, paths narrowed, and glowing plants created patterns that seemed to test their focus. Every step felt like a puzzle, and every breath was measured against the energy that flowed from the golden tree. Finally, they reached a small ledge near the top. The golden tree towered above them, its leaves shimmering brighter as they approached. Nico felt a vision forming in his mind, a world of possibilities, of advanced technology, of secrets waiting to be unlocked. It was breathtaking, almost impossible to resist. He closed his eyes, trying to calm himself. Myra's words echoed in his mind, the tree responds to desire. Seek understanding, not power. Nico opened his eyes and studied the tree carefully. Instead of reaching out immediately, he observed. He noticed how the leaves moved, how the light pulsed in rhythm with the plateau, and how the air vibrated with energy. Slowly, he realized the tree was not giving knowledge freely, it was testing them. It wanted to see how they would act. Lena whispered, "It's beautiful. Almost alive. Do you feel it too?" "Yes," Nico said, "but we must be careful. This place is not about what we want, but what we respect." They spent hours studying the plateau, taking careful measurements, sketches, and notes. The tree's energy was strong, but Nico resisted the temptation to touch it recklessly. Myra guided them, pointing out subtle patterns and signs that helped them understand the environment. The forest was alive, and every reaction was meaningful. As the sun began to set, the golden tree's glow softened. Nico realized that the plateau had tested them, not with danger, but with desire. It had measured their patience, their restraint, and their respect for the garden. And by the time they descended, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment, not for reaching the top, but for resisting the temptation that could have led them astray. That night, back at camp, Nico stared at the stars. He thought of the golden tree, the visions, and the pull that almost led him forward too quickly. He understood now that Eden 7 was more than a planet. It was a teacher, a mirror of the human heart, showing the power of curiosity balanced by wisdom. He whispered to himself, "Tomorrow, we go deeper. And tomorrow, I will be ready for whatever the garden shows us next." The stars over Eden 7 twinkled softly. The golden light of the plateau lingered in his mind, a reminder that temptation was always near, but understanding and patience could guide humanity safely through even the most extraordinary challenges. The morning air on Eden 7 was cool and still, carrying the faint scent of glowing flowers and wet soil. Nico awoke with a sense of unease he could not explain. The golden plateau loomed in his mind, its shimmering tree and glowing leaves replaying in his thoughts like a memory he could not escape. At breakfast, the team discussed their plan. "We need to study the plateau carefully today," Lena said, her notebook open. "The tree's energy is strong. If we document it properly, we might understand its patterns." Myra joined them quietly. "The forest watches you even now," she said. "Yesterday, you climbed the plateau with patience. Today, the garden will test your intentions. Be honest with yourselves. Seek knowledge, not power. That is the only way to move forward safely." Nico felt the pull again, subtle but powerful. A vision of the golden tree appeared in his mind, the leaves glowing brighter than ever, offering secrets of technology, of energy, of understanding far beyond what humans had achieved. He shook his head, trying to resist the temptation. "We must stay focused," he whispered to himself. The team set out. As they approached the plateau, Nico noticed that the forest reacted differently today. Vines shifted to form pathways, glowing flowers turned their faces toward him, and the air itself seemed heavier, charged with energy. The garden knew what was inside him. It tested not his skill, but his heart. They reached the base of the plateau, and the golden tree pulsed faintly in response to their presence. Nico's pulse quickened. He could feel the visions again, showing possibilities he had never imagined. He could see ways to change Earth, to advance human technology in ways that seemed impossible. The temptation to reach out and take this knowledge grew stronger. Myra's voice broke through his thoughts. "The tree will respond to desire, Commander. What you seek here will shape what you see. Be certain of your choice." Nico looked at the tree and then at his team. Ravi was checking sensors carefully, Lena was sketching the tree's details, and Sana was observing quietly. They seemed calm, focused on understanding rather than taking. Nico realized that their presence reminded him of what was truly important: teamwork, respect, and curiosity guided by wisdom. He stepped closer to the tree, feeling its energy surround him. A vision appeared: cities floating in the sky, machines powered by sunlight, and humans communicating instantly with alien species. The possibilities were endless. The pull of knowledge was strong, almost intoxicating. But Nico remembered Myra's warning. Seek understanding, not power. He took a deep breath, closing his eyes to steady his mind. He imagined the vision fading, replaced by questions rather than answers. How does the tree work? Why does it react to thoughts? How can humans learn from it without disturbing it? As he focused on curiosity instead of desire, the tree's glow softened. The visions became less overwhelming and more clear. Patterns emerged: connections between the plateau's energy, the surrounding plants, and the river below. He could see how the forest communicated with itself, a network of life that thrived on balance and respect. Lena whispered, "Commander, look at this. The leaves change color when we focus on different things. It's responding to our attention, not just our hands or tools." Nico nodded. "Yes. That's the lesson. Knowledge here isn't given freely. It's earned by understanding, patience, and respect." The team spent the day observing and documenting. They took careful notes, sketches, and measurements. The tree never resisted them, but it never gave more than what they sought with honesty. Nico realized that the visions of unlimited power had been a test, a temptation to see if they would seek personal gain rather than understanding. By evening, they descended the plateau together. Nico felt lighter, not because he had obtained knowledge, but because he had resisted temptation. The garden had not punished him, it had guided him. That night, around the campfire, Nico reflected on what he had learned. Eden 7 is more than a planet, he said quietly. It doesn't just test our skills. It tests our hearts. It shows us the difference between desire and curiosity, between greed and respect. Myra smiled from the edge of the camp. You have learned well today. The garden shares its secrets only with those who understand themselves. Remember this lesson, Commander. It is more valuable than any technology or power you could find. Nico stared at the glowing forest, thinking of the golden tree on the plateau. The temptation had been strong, almost overwhelming, but he had resisted. He realized that the real gift of Eden 7 was not knowledge itself, but the wisdom to seek it responsibly. As the stars appeared above the glowing forest, Nico felt a sense of peace. Tomorrow, they would explore even deeper, but he knew now that the garden's greatest challenge was not physical, it was the strength of the human heart. And Nico was ready to face it. The morning air on Eden 7 was thick with the scent of glowing flowers and damp earth. Nico and the team set out toward a deeper part of the forest, a place Myra called the heart of the garden. The trees here were taller, their leaves sparkling in colors Nico had never seen. The forest seemed quieter, but there was an energy in the air, almost like the planet itself was waiting. This area is very sensitive, Myra said softly. The forest will respond more strongly to your intentions. Be careful, and stay together. The team walked cautiously. As they moved, Nico noticed subtle changes. The vines along the path shifted like living walls, forming narrow corridors. Flowers that had glowed gently now pulsed brightly, and small creatures darted around, leaving streaks of light in their wake. Every step they took seemed observed, measured by the garden. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled slightly. Tiny rocks slid down a slope, and a low hum filled the air. Nico signaled the team to stop. The garden is reacting, he said. Stay alert. Lena knelt to study a patch of glowing plants. It's amazing, she whispered. The plants seem to move toward each other, like they're communicating. It's not random. As they continued, the forest became more challenging. Vines rose to block certain paths, rivers swelled slightly, and luminous pollen floated in patterns that seemed to confuse their instruments. The garden was alive, and it was testing them not with danger, but with subtle challenges that demanded focus and cooperation. Ravi frowned at the sensors. The readings are all over the place. The forest changes when we move, when we speak, even when we think. This is beyond anything I've seen before. Myra nodded. The forest mirrors your thoughts and intentions. If you act with greed, impatience, or fear, it reacts. But if you act with understanding and care, it opens pathways and shares knowledge. Nico realized she was right. Yesterday, at the Golden Plateau, the tree had tested his desire for knowledge. Today, the garden was testing their teamwork and respect for the environment. As they approached a narrow gorge, a sudden surge of water from the river blocked their path. The current was too strong to cross safely. Nico looked at his team. We need to work together. Lena, Ravi, help me find a way across. Sana, monitor the plant's movements. The team quickly devised a plan. They used fallen branches and stones to create a stable path across the river. As they moved carefully, the water calmed slightly, almost as if the river recognized their effort to act thoughtfully rather than recklessly. Once across, the forest opened into a wide clearing. The golden glow of distant flowers bathed the area in soft light. Myra gestured toward the center. This is the heart of the garden. Here, the energy is strongest. Observe, do not take more than you need, and work together. The team spread out slightly, documenting the unique plants and analyzing the environment. Each plant reacted differently to their presence. Some leaned forward, curious, while others recoiled, cautious. Nico realized that every choice mattered: the direction they moved, the way they handled samples, even the tone of their voices. Hours passed, and the team grew tired, but the forest continued to test them. At one point, vines shifted to block a path they needed. Instead of forcing their way through, Nico paused, observing the patterns and communicating quietly with Myra. Slowly, the vines opened, creating a safe passage. The forest had recognized patience and respect. By evening, the forest's challenges lessened. The light dimmed to soft blues and purples, and the creatures retreated into the glowing undergrowth. The team returned to camp, exhausted but satisfied. Around the campfire, Nico reflected. The garden is alive in every way, he said. It tests not just our strength or intelligence, but our character. It responds to teamwork, patience, and care. If we act selfishly, it reacts. But if we act together, it guides us. Myra smiled. You understand now. The garden rewards unity and respect. It shows that humans are capable of cooperation, creativity, and wisdom. These are the qualities that allow you to survive and thrive here. Nico looked at the glowing forest, feeling a deep sense of connection. Eden 7 was more than a planet, it was a teacher. It had challenged them without harm, testing their hearts and minds. And the team had passed, not because they were the strongest, but because they acted with understanding and unity. That night, Nico stayed awake longer than the others. He thought about the forest, the rivers, and the golden plateau. The garden had awakened, not against them, but within them, showing the power of cooperation and the importance of respect. Tomorrow, he knew, they would move even deeper, facing tests that would challenge their understanding further. And Nico felt ready. The morning on Eden 7 was calm. The glowing light of the forest reflected softly on the river, and tiny creatures moved among the sparkling plants. Nico and the team prepared to venture deeper into the heart of the garden. After yesterday's tests, they felt more connected not only to each other but to the forest itself. Myra joined them at the edge of the clearing. Today, you may see the garden's greatest secrets, she said. But remember, knowledge is given only to those who act with understanding, patience, and respect. The forest will not reward greed or haste. Nico nodded. We understand, Myra. We move together, carefully, and with respect. The team entered the forest. Unlike before, the environment seemed welcoming. Paths cleared naturally before them, vines gently moved aside, and the glowing plants leaned toward them, curious but calm. It was as if the garden recognized their unity and trust. As they walked, the golden tree from the plateau appeared in the distance. Its light was softer now, less overwhelming, almost inviting. Nico felt the pull, the subtle temptation of knowledge, but he remembered Myra's words. He focused on understanding, not desire. They reached the base of the golden tree. This time, the forest itself seemed to guide them. Flowers formed a circle around the tree, and the air vibrated softly, as if the energy of Eden 7 flowed into the team. Nico looked at Myra. It feels different today. Calm. Almost welcoming. Myra smiled. You have learned to respect the garden. That is why it responds to you now. The team approached the tree carefully. Instead of rushing, they observed the patterns in its glowing leaves and the rhythm of the surrounding plants. Ravi adjusted his sensors, Lena sketched details, and Sana documented everything. Each action was thoughtful and deliberate. Then something remarkable happened. The golden tree's leaves shifted in a pattern that seemed like a language, a message not of words, but of energy. Nico felt it in his mind, a gentle understanding flowing into him. The forest shared ideas, ways to grow food efficiently, ways to communicate with alien ecosystems, and ways to harness natural energy safely. "This is incredible," Lena whispered. "It's not giving us power, only understanding. It's teaching us, not giving us what we don't earn." Nico nodded. "Yes. The garden's secrets are lessons, not shortcuts. This is what humanity needs: wisdom, not just technology." Myra observed quietly. "The garden shows that true knowledge comes from cooperation and respect. You acted as a team, and the forest recognizes that. You are worthy of learning its secrets." The team spent hours interacting carefully with the tree and surrounding plants. Each action brought new insights, but nothing forced or overwhelming. They discovered methods to create sustainable energy using the forest's unique properties, ways to cultivate plants that responded to human care, and techniques to communicate with alien life forms respectfully. By the afternoon, Nico felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The golden tree's glow softened, blending into the forest. It had tested them, guided them, and finally rewarded them not with power, but with knowledge to help humanity grow responsibly. As they began their journey back to camp, the forest seemed alive in a new way. Pathways that were once narrow opened easily, flowers leaned toward them, and the air carried a sense of harmony. Eden 7 was no longer only a challenge, it was a partner, sharing its wisdom with those who had proven themselves worthy. That evening, around the campfire, Nico reflected on the journey. "The garden taught us more than we expected," he said. "It tested our hearts, our unity, and our patience. It reminded us that knowledge is not about shortcuts or personal gain. True strength comes from understanding, cooperation, and respect." Myra nodded. "You have learned well, Commander. Humans are capable of great wisdom. The forest responds to those who act with care and thought. Remember these lessons, they are more important than any discovery you could carry back." Nico looked at the glowing forest and the stars above. He felt proud not because of what he had seen, but because of what he had learned. Eden 7 had shown that humans could rise above temptation, act with integrity, and work together to uncover the wonders of the universe. As he lay under the softly glowing sky that night, Nico realized that the garden's greatest gift was not knowledge alone, but the lesson that humanity could grow stronger, wiser, and better through respect, unity, and curiosity. Tomorrow, they would leave Eden 7, but the lessons of the garden would stay with them forever, guiding them in their journey among the stars. The morning sun rose slowly over Eden 7, casting golden light over the glowing forest and the silver river. Nico and the team packed their equipment carefully, each carrying notebooks, sketches, and sensor data that recorded the wonders they had discovered. For days, they had explored, observed, and learned from a world unlike any other. And now, it was time to leave. Myra appeared at the edge of the camp. Her eyes sparkled with warmth and understanding. "You have learned much," she said. "The garden has shared its wisdom with you, but remember, knowledge without care is dangerous. Take what you have learned and use it to grow, to help others, and to protect life wherever you go." Nico nodded. "We will. Eden 7 has taught us more than we could imagine. Thank you for guiding us." The journey to the landing site was calm. The forest seemed to recognize their respect and cooperation. Glowing flowers leaned gently toward the team, and tiny creatures danced around them in bright, joyful patterns. Even the rivers and streams seemed to shimmer more clearly, reflecting a harmony that the team felt deeply in their hearts. As they boarded the Aurora, Nico took one last look at the forest. The golden tree from the plateau was visible in the distance, its light softer now, almost like a gentle farewell. He remembered the pull of temptation he had felt on the plateau, the visions of knowledge, the possibility of power. He realized that Eden 7 had tested him not to trick him, but to teach him. The true value was not what he could take, but how he could grow. The spaceship lifted off smoothly, rising above the trees. The landscape of Eden 7 stretched out below, rivers shining, forests glowing, and mountains standing tall. The lessons of the planet filled Nico's mind. Cooperation, respect, patience, and understanding, these were the qualities that allowed humans to explore, to learn, and to thrive. Sana broke the silence. Commander, the readings from the heart of the garden are incredible. The energy patterns alone could teach humanity so much about sustainable technology and living in harmony with nature. Yes, Nico said quietly. But the knowledge itself isn't the most important part. The lesson is how we earn it, how we use it, and how we grow because of it. Eden 7 has shown us that humanity's strength lies in wisdom and integrity, not just discovery. Lena smiled. I've never seen anything like it. The forest reacts to our thoughts and intentions. It's alive in ways we didn't think were possible. Ravi nodded. It's humbling. And it makes me proud, Commander. We worked together, respected the forest, and learned its secrets without taking more than we could understand. That's something humans can carry anywhere. Nico looked around at his team, feeling a deep sense of pride and hope. Eden 7 had tested them, tempted them, and guided them. And in responding with care, respect, and teamwork, they had succeeded. He realized that this was the essence of humanity, the ability to face challenges, resist temptation, and rise stronger through unity and wisdom. As the Aurora left the atmosphere of Eden 7, the planet slowly disappeared from view, glowing softly in the distance. Nico felt a sense of peace. He knew that the lessons of the garden would remain with them forever, guiding them in every decision, every exploration, and every challenge humanity would face among the stars. He thought of the golden tree, the glowing rivers, and the whispering forest. Eden 7 had shown them that temptation exists everywhere, not just on alien planets, but in human hearts. And just as they had learned to resist and act with integrity here, they could carry that lesson into the universe, helping humanity grow wiser and stronger. Nico leaned back in his chair, watching the stars. Humanity is capable of great things, he whispered. We can explore, discover, and understand. But only if we act with respect, care, and cooperation. Eden 7 has reminded us of that. And now, we take that lesson home. The team worked quietly for the rest of the journey, reviewing data and sketches, sharing observations, and reflecting on the experiences that had changed them. They had faced temptation, challenged themselves, and discovered the wonders of a living world. And in doing so, they had proven the strength, resilience, and wisdom of humanity. As the stars stretched endlessly outside the ship, Nico knew one thing clearly: Eden 7 had given humanity more than knowledge. It had given them hope. Hope that humans could rise above temptation, work together, and explore the universe with courage and integrity. And that hope, he realized, was the greatest discovery of all.